understood that pressurizing all of this information into 1 hour, it's almost impossible. So our next webinar is going to touch the enterprise architecture, understanding it, and it will also touch the new release of the Ossia version 1.4.3. We're going to send you an invitation beginning of next week. Okay, and also what we're going to touch today is understanding the version capabilities, meaning the standard version versus the enterprise version. Okay, so about the versions, the Ossia CMS is going to be released in two versions. We're going to release the standard version, which is a standalone version, which I will touch in a second, and it is going to be free. This is actually replacing the current CMS that you are using. So that is the replacement. Very important to mention that the architecture of Ossia version 1.4 and up is not compatible anymore with the old CMS. So while you're using updating or changing your devices, you will also need to change the CMS. So the old CMS will be completely out of the picture and incompatible with new devices running version 1.4, while the new CMS, the Ossia CMS, has a back compatibility all the way down to old devices running version 3.2, which are devices about 5 or 6 years old. Okay, older devices might work, but we haven't tested it in our test facilities. We tested all the way down to version 1.2, so we can assure you that it will work. We're also going to release the enterprise version, which is a server client based, and it is going to be a paid version. It's not going to be free. And in the next few slides, we will understand the differences. So first of all, let's understand the concept. What is a standalone and what is a server client based? A standalone is a system that after you install it on your PC, for example, you don't need any other component or any other service in order for it to work. Therefore, it's a standalone software. Okay, so the new CMS, the standard version, is going to be a standalone version like the current CMS. The current CMS version 3 is also a standalone version, meaning that after you installed it, you can run it from any computer and you don't need any other service or hardware or another software in order for it to work properly. Against it, we have the server client system. The server client system is based on a solution that you have a client. The client is installed on a PC or on your phone, for example. And we'll touch it in the future. But in order for this client to work, it must be connected. It must have a stable connection to a server. Without that server or without a valid connection, the client will not work because it relates on the server in order to work. Of course, each one of these systems have its benefits, and it have downsides, but you need to put on the scale the two versions, what it offers, and you need to understand which version is better for you. This is what we are going to do today. Okay, so in order to choose which version is better for you, you need to answer the next few questions. Okay, how many channels will be configured? For example, the standard version have 256 free channels. You cannot expand it over 256 channels. So if you have 300 channels, the standard is no longer an option. How many clients and workstations will be used? Okay, if you have a lot of workstations, you need to manage all of those workstations. If you choose the standalone version, you will need to manage all of these workstations manually, one by one. I will demonstrate it in a few minutes, and you will see it. If you have a server client-based, you only need to maintain the server, and the server maintains automatically all the clients. How many users will the system have? If you have a lot of users, or you have only one user, of course, one user is more related to the standard version, while multiple users are more related to the enterprise version. Will the system expand in the future? Also, this is very important in the matters of ability to expand, and also the management on how to expand the system. And again, I will show you, I will demonstrate in a few minutes, it will be very clear. Okay, and of course, the last and very obvious, which features are important. Some features are not supported by the standard version and only supported by the enterprise version. Also, we will touch these features in the future. Important thing I haven't said, if you have any questions, please feel free to open your mic and ask any questions that you want. If I will not hear any questions, I will just continue running with the presentation. Okay, so now we have a few demonstrations explaining what is a standalone system comparing to server-based. Okay, so we have 3 devices and we have 3 clients. Now this is a standalone version, meaning that each of these clients is separated than the other clients. Okay. Now, in order for it to work, we need to configure each one of these 3 devices on each one of the servers. So we need to configure this device 1, 2, 3. We need to configure this device 1, 2, 3. So we need to configure this device 1, 2, 3. Okay, 9 configurations. Now we have 3 users. So again, the same thing. We need to configure each one of the users 3 times on each one of the clients. Okay, this was the simple part. Now maintenance. Okay, what happens? We want to add a new device. We need to go to each one of these clients and configure this device. Now think what happens if one of your devices, if you're talking about a nationwide project, one of your devices in the north of your country, the other device is in the east of your country, and the other device is in the south of the country. It's starting to be complicated. Now, the more complicated part, what happens if you want to remove a user? Okay, you need to go to each one of the clients and remove the user manually. Only then the user will be actually removed. Okay, so this is a small demonstration to understand the standalone system. I hope everything was clear. If not, again, feel free to open your mic and stop me. And now we will go to understand the enterprise version. The enterprise version is a server client-based system. And now we will have the same scenario. We have 3 devices. We have 3 clients. Now all we need to do is to configure each one of the devices 1 time on the management server. And now the management server knows how to contact the clients and give them access to these devices. Okay, it doesn't happen automatically. You still have the authentication system. If one of the clients is not allowed, is not permitted to watch one of the devices, it will not be able to watch it. Okay, but this is just for the demonstration. Same thing with the users. We need to configure each one of the users 1 time on the server, and all the clients will actually, all the users will be able to access through any one of the clients. Now everything is much more simple. If you want to add a device, you just add it on the management server. The management server drops it to all of the clients. You want to remove a user? No problem. Remove 1 user. Remove the user from the management server. And it will be removed from the client automatically. So the client is no longer available. Okay? So this is just to understand a little bit about the differences when it comes to managing devices and users. Okay? In terms of face recognition, we have the same problem. Okay? Let's think about a chain of stores, retail stores, nationwide, 100 branches. In this case, we have only one branch, but it doesn't matter. Now, on the left side, we have one device, and we have a nice person. His name is Yuval. And we added him into the database of this NVR. Okay, this is a face recognition NVR. Now, what happened to all the other NVRs? When Yuval will come here, Yuval will still not be recognized. He will be unrecognized. You can see here, here, here. Why? Because there is no link, there is no mechanism that links between these NVRs. So when you add it here, when you add Yuval here, his face will only be here. He will not be added to the other places. Okay, now what happens when you use the Enterprise version? When you use the Enterprise version, we add the person through the CMS, and I will demonstrate it live in a second. Okay, and now this person through the management server, okay, through the management server, will be dispatched to all of the NVRs. So all of the NVRs will have the face of the person. Okay, now I need to stop and demonstrate because this is very important. Okay, so give me a second. I'm leaving the presentation for a second. Okay, now I'm going to access one device. Okay, so this is my device. I'm going to access it from web. Okay, and now we will see the database of this device. We will go to the function panel, event, analytics, and database here. You will see that we have three groups here: allow list 1, allow list 2, and block list. Okay, we have some faces here, but it doesn't really matter. Okay, now what I will do, I will go to the CMS, face recognition, real-time view. You can see here that we have a lot of faces. So now what I will, before that, sorry, apologies. Before that, I'm going to the face database management, and I'm going to create a new database. Okay, right click here. I know you haven't seen this interface yet. We will see the interface later on. Clicking on add, I'm giving it a name. I'm calling it a webinar, so it will be very clear that this is what it is. And here we have analytics server. I will explain about it in a second. I don't want an analytics server database. I want a face recognition NVR database. Okay? And what happened now? The system tells me that I have two devices running supporting face recognition. This is the lab. This is the NVR I'm connected to. And this is a demo NVR. Okay, in our demo room. I will add both of them into this database. I will click on OK. In a second, you will see the webinar created here. You can see it here. Okay, webinar. And if I go back to my NVR, I need to refresh it. I will go to another interface. I will go back to the face recognition database. And you can see here that I have the group I just created through the CMS. It's called webinar, and currently it has 0 faces. Okay. Now to maintain it, I can go to the real-time view, and here I'm getting all of my faces. Now I will choose one face. I will click here the plus. This is the face. I'm choosing here the group that I want to add the person to. The group name is webinar. Okay. Now I will give this person a name. Don't know his name, so I'll just put it no. And I will save. That's it. Now again, let me go back to the NVR. And there he is, John Doe. Okay. On the other NVR, this person will be available as well, because all the NVRs that configured under this group will be synchronized. But the synchronization, this is the important part, the synchronization is one way from the CMS to the NVRs. If I add a face from the NVR interface, it will not be synced to the other NVRs. So everything must be managed from the CMS, okay? And what I'm showing now is both for the Enterprise and the standard version, the database, okay? Now, the last part, of course, is the ability to delete a shared database. So if I click here if I right click here, we have 2 options. We have delete and force delete. This name is a little misleading, but the difference between the two, delete is to delete together with the together with the synchronized groups. Meaning, if I delete it, this group will be deleted also from the NVRs. If I click force delete, this group will be deleted from the CMS, but the information will remain on the NVRs. So now I click on delete. I will confirm. And you will see that if I'm going here and I will refresh, go back to the database, and you will see webinar disappeared. Okay? And this is a normal NVR, face recognition NVR. Okay? I hope this was clear. If not, again, feel free to open your mic and ask questions. Okay, go back to the presentation. A little bit of the capabilities of the standard version. So like we said, the standard version is a free version. It is it supports 256 channels, free. It cannot be expanded, meaning that it cannot support more than 256 channels. And the features it supports, of course, all of Provision ISR devices. It supports also Hikvision and Dahua devices on an SDK level. And what it means that you can even use Hikvision and Dahua DVRs and NVRs, and you will be able to get playback and perform all the basic operations. Analytics is not available yet. I hope we will be able to manage it and develop it as well. But at the moment, we support only the basic features: live view, playback, and so on. We also support on-viv devices, mostly IP cameras. We support TV walls. TV walls, it's an optional hardware. You must have a special hardware for it. And also we support decoders. Okay, the idea of the decoder is to reduce the load from the PC. Okay, if you will look on a PC, and again, let me show you, for example, my computer. You can see here, I have the CPU here where my mouse is. You can see the CPU and the memory usage. Okay, now I will open 16 channels. This is substream. You can see that there is no much effect on the CPU, about 25%. Okay, but what happens if I will switch now to mainstream? Now you will see the CPU went up to 17, 100% even in some ticks. Okay, and actually my computer now is under a lot of stress and effort. The idea of the decoder is to reduce this load from the computer. What it does, you connect the decoder to an external monitor, and using the CMS, you just control which cameras will be displayed on which monitor. Okay, this is the idea of the decoders. So it's an external hardware. It's an external hardware that connects to the infrastructure, and again, it's supported on both standard and the enterprise. And it uses to decode video and send the video, display it on external monitors, not on PC monitors. Okay, now let me go back to substream. Close all. You will see back the CPU is going back to normal. We have keyboards to control PTZs, so on. And we have face attendance, which I will explain in a second. And we have face surveillance, which I will also demonstrate in a second. Okay? EMAP, live view, and playback, these are the basic features. Of course, two-way audio, alarm in, alarm out, and so on. Everything is supported. Multi-screens, all the basic features that you know. The enterprise version, you can see that in the middle, all the features of the standard version are supported, but we have some additional support of features. First of all, like we said, the enterprise version will not be free. The charge will be per channel. Again, I'm not touching commercial information, just for your general knowledge. The architecture is server client based, and what it means that now we have more than one client. For the standard version, we only have a PC client, PC software. For the enterprise version, the client can be the PC software. It can be a mobile app, a dedicated mobile app, which I hope I will have time to show as well. And also a web client. Okay. Now, some of you might remember that CMS3 supported web client as well, but now the free version will not support web clients anymore. Only the enterprise version will support the web clients. Except of that, we are going to have face greeting, which I will also demonstrate in a few minutes. And together with the face greeting, we're going to have a very, very special feature of embedded face recognition. What we did with the enterprise version, we took our face recognition algorithm and we embedded it into the CMS. So if you're using the enterprise version, you can practically transform any camera that you have into a face detection device, and the CMS is actually the face recognition device. So any channel can become a face detection channel, including analog cameras and PTZs, which are not capable to perform this task in the normal circumstances. Okay, but of course you need to provide. I'm not talking about analog cameras with 700 TV lines. I'm talking about analog HD, 1, 2 megapixel that a visible face can be shown. Okay, in the future, once our LPR engine will be ready, the CMS will also know how to handle the LPR cameras and actually will be the management interface for the parking management. Again, if I'm not hearing any questions, I'm moving on. Here we have some tables. I'm not going to touch these tables, all of them. I'm just going to touch some important parts. Uh, these presentations will be sent to you after the webinar, so you can go through this presentation as well and read it again and make sure that everything is clear. So the important parts for hardware products, the CMS, the standard version does not support any hardware products, and the Enterprise does support hardware products. What it means hardware products? It means the server and the storage servers for storage with RAID and so on. We're going to develop dedicated hardware with the CMS embedded on it. Okay? The idea behind it, this is going to be released around Q3. The idea behind it, it has two main reasons. The first reason is that we can promise you that our hardware will be cheaper than any hardware that you will buy external sources, because we are developing our own hardware. The second is that since we know exactly the hardware and the software, we know exactly to tell you what will be supported or what will be the capabilities of this hardware. And also, it will be much more reliable than hardware that if you just buy a server and you install on it the CMS, obviously it's okay, it will work, but embedded softwares are much more stable. Okay, this is less important. Like we said, all the analytic features, for example, embedded face recognition algorithm, only the Enterprise have. Parking management, only the Enterprise have. LPR, only the Enterprise have. The face recognition device supports face recognition NVRs supported by both versions, and I will demonstrate in a second. For the system capacity, we're talking about 256 channels for the standard, while the Enterprise supports up to 30,000. And each server can handle up to 3,000 devices, while of course it's not applicable for the standard version. Okay, advanced algorithms, advanced streaming options are available only on the Enterprise. For example, RTSP, RTMP, HLS supported only on the Enterprise version, and for some projects these are very important. Okay, a little bit about the capabilities. So of course we have the live view. One of the great features that we added that was not supported on the old version is the fisheye support. Okay, the fisheye have its own interface, very similar to the NVR, and this is the time to demonstrate. So let's go here on channel review, and I will take my fisheye. Okay, so this is the fisheye camera. Switch to mainstream. Okay, this is my fisheye camera. Now, if I want to control it, I click on the eye. I have the fisheye interface. For example, I can switch this interface. If I click on each one of the images, I will have the mark exactly what I'm looking at. And now I cannot move it. Okay, I'm trying to move it now. You cannot see. I cannot move it unless I enable the option of fisheye PTZ. Okay, here I click on, and now I can also move the views around, and you can see that the view on the left is dynamic. Okay, so this one is the green. Again, I can move it. This one is the red. We have a lot of new divides. You can see that, for example, in this type of view, we have a lot of dead areas. The corners basically are dead spots and all the way down. But if I take this type of view, fisheye +8, and now I click here, you will see that only exactly beneath the fisheye is a dead area, dead spot area, while all the surroundings of it are covered. Okay, and again, each one have its own color. Very simple, very easy to use. You can move it around with the mouse. Very intuitive and very nice to use. Back to the presentation. Of course, we have the, okay, let's stay here for a second. So of course, we have the PTZ control. Okay, out for a second. Okay, the PTZ control, including 3D zoom. So for example, if I mark this area, I will zoom in here. I can mark even further. Let's see if I have more zoom to give. Yeah. Okay. So this again, very intuitive, very easy to use. We have here all the presets that are configured on the NVR. So if I want to move this one, okay, I can move here. If I want to see, this is I-10PT, by the way. I love this camera. One of the reasons of it, the ability of the camera to look upwards. I can look to roofs of places. Okay, so this is PTZ. We have instant playback. Okay, very similar to the Ossia. And see here, I'm using the Enterprise version, so we have storage server, and we have directly from the NVR. But for example, here I can perform instant playback 3 minutes ago. Now, instant playback, network, let's go. Probably it's not recording. Okay. The next interface we have is the playback. The playback, one of the new features that we have, playback is very simple, very normal, I mean. But one of the new interfaces you have, I don't know who of you are using the best playback interface available, which is the time slice image. Okay, so we've introduced the time slice image also to the CMS. Okay, what I can do here, I can go to the NVR, for example, and I take one camera, double click, and now you can see I have here 5 days from the 18th to the 23rd. I don't know if you're familiar with this interface, but what I got now is a snapshot from midnight of every day. Here we already started overwriting the video, so the latest one we have is the earliest one we have 2 p.m. But let's take here, for example. Now I will get one snapshot from every hour. Very similar to the Ossia. The only difference between this and the Ossia is that the Ossia gets to a resolution of 1 minute, while the CMS gets to a resolution of 5 minutes. So we have here 5. Let's see this truck when it arrived. Okay, let's see this truck. Click on 5. Now I will get one snapshot from every 5 minutes, and you can see that somewhere between 5:35 and 5:40, the truck is already here. If I click on play, you can see that the truck is already here. You can see it's raining, but this interface is very fast, very intuitive. And the nice thing about it, that once I click on one slice, like here, I can click here on backup, and immediately this 5 minutes, you can see the duration is just a little bit shorter than 5 minutes. It's already being backed up to my computer. Okay, backup can be in data, like you know, played with our special tool, or it can be in AVI. Unlike the Ossia, you need to, when you back up from the CMS, it doesn't ask you every time you back up, it doesn't ask you which format you want to back up, like the Ossia. It will always perform the backup in whatever format was configured to it. Okay, you have here the configuration. We're not going to go through the configuration today. It's not the idea, but just to show you the idea that, for example, the backup file format now is AVI. I can switch it that. Now it is a data file. We can also search events. If I click here by event, we can choose the camera. For example, let's take front door face. Okay. Since I'm using the Enterprise version, always you can see here the default is by playback from the storage server. So now I will switch playback from device, double click, and now I will get all of my events. You can see smart events, schedule, motion detection, and everything I can do from here directly, playback, backup. I can choose if to back up the mainstream or the substream. And let's see playback, for example. So this is the face of this lady was captured probably. Okay, yeah, face detection. This camera is only running face detection. You can see every time we have a face detection, this is a smart event. Okay, the EMAP monitoring. This is very simple. Also, I will demonstrate it. The EMAP monitoring, of course, you have the ability to set up the map. What you see here, the green flashing, if you see it, it means that there is some kind of alarm running on this camera. You can also see the red icon here. If I click on clear all, you can see now that the red icon here disappeared, and also all of the cameras stopped flashing. Now, whenever I have a motion event or something like that, you can see main passage, back DDA. Whenever I have an event, it will blink, and now I can double click here and here, and I get the video on the right side to see what is happening. Okay. Of course, I can click on any camera I want. It doesn't have to be flashing in order for me to be able to click on it. I can just click here, it will appear. Okay. The color, it can be set by the user. So the main passage, it is red because I configured it to be red. Okay. I can change the color of it through the configuration. Okay, face recognition. One of the most interesting or new features of the CMS is the face recognition. Okay, when it comes to the standard and the enterprise, they can work with the interfaces of face recognition and VRs. Okay, when it comes to the enterprise only, the enterprise can perform face recognition tasks. I will show it in a video that I made because the configuration takes some time, but let me show you how it works from the NVR. Okay, so what I do here, I go to the face recognition tab. There it is. Okay, what you see here on the right side is actually the same right pane that you see on the NVRs. If you would see my local NVR screen now, you will see that this is actually a mirror of that NVR. Okay. If I want to analyze faces, I need to set here on the center area. I need to set the camera, and only faces from cameras monitoring live here will be drawn to this pane. Okay. So now what I can do, I can click on this person, search. Now it went to the search pane, and I choose the NVR I want to search from. I click on search, see if we will have results. Okay, here we have our results. Okay, you can see this person coming in. Okay, see him on the phone here. Okay, this information is coming from the NVR. Okay, it's not from the CMS. Of course, it can be also from the CMS if the CMS is performing record. Okay, you can see here this is a very difficult recognition. The side of the face, also a very good match. We can also switch to an EMAP view. Okay, you can see here the lane that the person went from the front door face to the main passage. And here we have two options. I have the option to play back just snapshots. It will be fast, so you can see here a snapshot. You can see the snapshots are moving here, and that's it. Or I can click on track playback. Okay, and now this playback will play synchronized chronological playback of the person. Okay, this is the person coming into the office with his bicycle, and of course this is only from face detection cameras. Okay, we cannot perform it from. Will not get results from other cameras. Okay, and you can see it will be played in a chronological timeline. I can stop it, and I can just click on the camera, and I will see all the snapshots related to this camera. And again, I can just play whatever I want. I can choose manually whatever I want to play. If I want to build my database, to start building my database from the CMS, like I said, we need to handle the database from the CMS. I need to access, if you know the terms in our NVRs, we need to access the snapshot library. Okay, so we can do it from here. If I click on search, I can choose the device. I can choose the channel. Sorry. So let's take main passage, for example, and I will perform searches from today. Now I will click on search. I will get all of the faces captured by this channel today. And now I can start handling my database. Okay, so I can take this face. This is a very good image for a database. We have a front looking straight, good resolution. Now I can click on the plus and set the name and the database. Okay, take another person. Let's take this person. Okay, go to the next view. This lady, we can add her. Okay, everything must be handled from the CMS if we want to be able to synchronize. Okay, so the CMS is giving you all the tools that you need in order to handle this database. You can extract faces from the NVR and add it to the database of the CMS, and it will be synchronized to other places, to other NVRs. Okay, I hope this was clear enough. Okay, auto report. This is a very, very important feature. It's very important for you to understand it. It might be a little technical, okay, but I'm sure all of you will understand. Let's think about a normal situation, okay? In a normal situation, let's think we have the management server or the Ossia CMS standard, okay? It doesn't have to be the enterprise version. It can be the enterprise version. It can be the standard version. Now here, we have 6 devices. Some devices have static IP. Some devices are working with DDNS. In order for it to work with the CMS, sorry, 1 second. In order for it to work with the CMS, each one of these devices, you need to set port forwarding from this IP or from this DDNS to the device itself. So you have 2 ports here, the HTTP port and the data port, 2 ports here, 2 ports here, 2 ports here, 2 ports here, 2 ports here. Think about if you have a lot of devices, or if you have a virtual IP, it will not work. Okay. In the past, we offered the ability to add devices to the CMS using P2P. Okay, but it's not a good solution for 2 reasons. First of all, the P2P, when it comes to reliability, the cloud connection, the P2P it's not a good choice. Okay, we're talking about 95% success, which is amazing, but still, when it comes to a professional CMS, you cannot allow yourself the chance for the 5% failure. Okay, Second of all, we saw that it's causing a lot of instability to the cloud servers because unlike using a mobile phone, the mobile client, the mobile app, when you're using the mobile app, you connect to your cameras. You can view it maybe for 5, 10 minutes, 15 minutes if you're if you have something happening, but that's it. You will close it. If you're using P2P with the CMS, some users might open 64 channels and just the CMS will run for days because there is no reason to close it. And it caused a lot of overload on the servers. So we've decided to remove the P2P from the CMS, but we are offering the auto report. Now I will explain what is the auto report, and I will even demonstrate. So, like I said, we have here 6 devices. All of these 6 devices must have a valid IP or DDNS, and it must have port forwarding as well. And now we will configure all of these 6 devices on the CMS, and the CMS will connect with those devices. Okay, it's a lot of work, especially if you have a lot of devices, and more than that, it requires from the installer some network skills and the ability to access the router. Maybe sometimes the IT people will not allow him to access the router. Maybe the router is protected by password and no one knows the password. These are situations that we see all the time. So this is not very convenient. This is why we created the auto report mode. Okay? In auto report mode, we actually switch the roles. Okay? Now, what we have one static IP here, just for the CMS, and we only need one port forwarding. Port by default is port 2009, but it can be any port. Okay? And now, the devices will contact the CMS, not the CMS will contact the devices. And let me demonstrate how it works. Okay, we have one IP camera, one NVRs. These are the interfaces, and I will even show you in a minute how it works. And now, after I configured it, you can see here what I configure is only the server address, the port, which is by default 2009, and it is only this port. And what's important is the device ID, okay? This must be unique, because if this will not be unique, we will have a duplication. Now, after we input this information, the devices will start pinging to the CMS. You cannot see it, but there is a nice animation here. You will be able to see it on your computers. Maybe now you can see it. Okay, it's pinging the CMS. Nothing is happening yet. Now, we need to go to the CMS and configure those devices. You can see we have the quick add, we have the manual add, and we have the auto report. Now we need to add devices 1 and 2, set the username and password, and that's it. The devices are connected. Okay, you can see here auto report. Nothing needs to be done on the device side. All the configuration is done on the server side, which is very convenient, very easy, and saves a lot of work and a lot of hassle on managing of IP addresses. Okay. Now, the situation here. Okay. Let me open my CMS. I'm going to the resource management. Now, I will delete device. Okay. What you will see here, you will see I'm going to the function panel, network, the IP. From here, I will get to what we call platform access. And you can see here what I do. I configure the IP of my server, port 2009, and report ID 3. Okay, this is my report ID. Now I will go to my CMS. I will add a device. and you can see not quick add, not manually add, auto report. The device number is number 3. My protocol is provision SR, username admin. This one I need to add it. And I click, of course I need to input my area. And now I click on OK. And you will see that within a few seconds, we will have a live connection. You can see the numbers are updated. And that's it. I'm online. Okay, lab. Now I can go to home, live view, database. This is lab. Now I can open it. I will have live view, direct connection. Okay. So this is actually what's replacing the P2P connection. And except of that, I think it's an amazing feature when you have a lot of devices or when you don't want to manage a lot of IPs, static IPs, and virtual IPs and so on. Okay. Again, if I'm not hearing any questions, I'm continuing. Face recognition by the server, okay, by the CMS servers. Okay, one of the services of the server is smart analytics. Okay, and like I said, in the next webinar, we are going to touch all of the server architecture and so on. It's a little bit time consuming. Today, I only want to show features. Okay, so one of the features is the face recognition. Okay, now what you will see here, I took one PTZ here. I went to the face recognition configuration. I took one PTZ, the external PTZ, I10PT. This PTZ doesn't have analytics at all. No, I'm not talking about face detection. It doesn't have any analytics, not even the simple ones. So now, what we changed here, you can see this. Sorry, better now. You will see this configuration, face detection by server. Okay, here. I changed it, face detection by server. So now the CMS server is the one performing face detection. Okay? And now we will see how it looks. This is the PTZ. Okay, I'm playing the video. I hope you will be able to see it. Again, if not, this presentation will be shared with you. So now I will just click on play. You can see the PTZ is moving. Person coming in, you can see the faces are captured here on the bottom. And now I can click on any one of the faces, click on search. Now I will see the results. Okay. Now the results again are coming from the NVR. I'm searching this face. This face was captured by the CMS, but the results are from the face recognition NVR. If the record will be in the CMS storage, the CMS will also be able to do this recognition. Okay, but this recognition is coming at the moment from the NVR, and you can see here we have all the cameras: front door face, main passage, second floor, main passage again. It's just a video, so I cannot play back any further. Okay. Now this is moving to discuss about the architecture. Like I said, I don't want to touch it today. Okay, I don't want to touch it today. I will just show you a few more features. And I'm in good times. Amnon will be happy. Okay, so all the rest of the presentation we're going to touch in the next webinar. It's a much more technical architecture and so on. What I want to show you now, just in a glimpse, is the web server, yeah, and the mobile client, the mobile app. So now I'm accessing the CMS, okay? And what we see here, I will enter my credentials. This is the web client of the Ossia CMS. We have two options. We have monitor client, which is the live view, and we have the configuration client. If we are not sure where we want to go or where we need to go, we can just click on the platform, log in. And here we have monitor client. So you can see live preview, playback, EMAP, basic system status. And we have the resource, and we have the configuration, resource management, server management, record, alarm, accounting authorities, EMAP, and so on. Okay, so let's go live preview, for example. Live preview. Okay, opening. Okay, now we have the live video. We can switch to mainstream if we want. Running both the client CMS, I think it's a little heavy on my computer, but anyway, we can switch to mainstream. Basically, we have here everything that we have in the Ossia web client. Okay, we can perform everything from here. If we need to configure, so this is the live view. If we need to configure, we can switch to the configuration on the top right. Now this is the configuration management. From here, we will be able to configure the devices. You can see we can add servers, manage the EMAP, and so on, system maintenance, anything that we need to do, we can do it from here. Okay, you can see here my device tree and so on. So this is the web client. And last but not least is the mobile app. The mobile app is different than the Provision CAM 2. Next, okay. So what I'm opening now is Ossia CMS. You can see it here. Okay, very similar in the appearance to the CAM 2, Ossia, to the Provision CAM 2, but you will see that if I'm going, first of all, you can see that it's more limited here. If I'm going to the server list, I can only configure one server, okay? Because each application or each Ossia CMS architecture can have only one management server. So this is my management server. You can see this IP appears everywhere, this 222. So you can see it also here. Here it is, 222. And now, according to my username that I input here, I can see that the tree list. Okay, you can see the NVR DVR database. If I will go to the CMS, you will see it also here, DVR, database, and NVR. Okay, go back here. And now if I click on the NVR, I will have the device under the NVR, which is the demo NVR. Now I can have demo NVR. Now I see the actual channels. Now I can choose which channel I want to view. Okay, can even switch to 16 channel. I can view all of them. Okay. Also for playback, you can see the interface is very similar to the Provision CAM 2, but of course the features are a little bit different. The Ossia CMS is a little more limited in the features than the Provision CAM 2. Okay. One of the things I want to show you, and I forgot, when it comes to face recognition, okay, nothing much more to show on the mobile app. Just to explain to you that when I add a user to the CMS, it will be added automatically on the mobile app because the mobile app is connected to the server. Okay, this is what's important to understand. Okay, think about a situation today where you have a device configured on someone's phone, and it's not a company phone, and now you want to remove that person so he wouldn't be able to connect to the device anymore, okay, because he left work or something like that. He can tell you, I don't want to give you my phone. And now what you need to do, you need to start changing password to the NVRs and configure it all over on the CMS, on the NVRs, on all the other mobile app. It's an extremely huge headache. The last thing I want to show, and good thing I didn't forget, the face greeting. The face greeting interface allows you to use the CMS as a face greeting. Okay, when someone comes to the office or to any place that this system is installed, if he is successfully recognized, you can use a second monitor to display a welcome screen. Now I'm going to switch my share view, my second monitor. Okay, I hope you see it. You should see a black screen showing welcome. Okay, and now what I need someone to.
Yeah, it's okay.
Okay, I need someone being recognized and coming in.
Do you want me to go, Tom?
I think so. I don't see any movement.
No problem. Which camera?
The one next to your office. Okay, here is Amnon. Okay, here is Amnon. We have another person here, Sabine. I hope you can see it. We have another person now, Ellie. So all the people being recognized will appear on this welcome screen. Of course, the configuration is you can configure the duration. Okay, you can configure also for the CMS to read your name out loud, the name. Okay, even though that in foreign languages it might sound a little strange with some names, it's more at the moment is more oriented for English names. But you can see the general idea. The same concept can be used for time attendance. If you decide to use the CMS as a time attendance, you can put a small monitor next to the to the face recognition, face detection camera, performing time attendance. And when the person is standing in front of the camera, his face will show here, and then he will understand that he was properly recognized by the time attendance system. Okay? Perfect. This webinar, we had a lot of silence, no questions at all. I don't know if everything was very clear or you're still shocked from the amazing features of the new CMS. Like I said, we were supposed to go through the second half of the presentation as well, which is all the architecture, okay? But we don't have the time for it. It needs a good half an hour at least. So what we're going to do, we're going to combine the next webinar that will touch the Ossia version 1.4.3 together with this half of the presentation. This will happen in the next webinar. For now, I've showed you all of the features.
When is the next webinar? I think it's next week, right?
It should be next week. We need to see that it's not clashing with any other schedules we have, but it should be next week. We will send an invitation probably on Sunday. And also, like I said, we're going to release the CMS to the website on Sunday. So from Sunday, when you download the latest CMS, it will be this CMS, the standard version, not the enterprise version. If you think you need the enterprise version, you can contact your sales representative. Maybe Amnon will share a little bit more details on that. Until then, thank you for joining us. It was a pleasure. We will be here for the next 10 or 15 minutes. If you have any question or some things that are not clear, feel free to open your mic and ask whatever you want. Thank you.